All right, people, awesome story time, right? Okay, so it was about 7 years ago, right? About 7 years, 7, 8 years, about seven, realistically. And this is important, right? Because, like, once upon a time, way before internet, right? I had to go look this shit up in books, right? Remember books? But I remember the Native Americans talked about that because I was researching tattooing and Native Americans were about that. But anywho, I remember they talked about that it takes your body in its entirety to replace its cells in its entirety every 7 years. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So uh, I also base things on 9 months, right? 9 months is what it takes to birth a child, right? So if you're like serious about something and you have some project you want to work on, focus on it 9 months and you got something, right? So, so 7 years ago, I made a conscious decision and I don't have it right. I'll find it. Maybe I can include the link later because I think I put it in our earlier video a long time ago and I'll have to find it. But anywho, here's the gist. That I made a promise to myself and to my son that I would raise my spiritual vibration for him as well as myself. Now, there's been some setbacks and that's okay. But most of all, after 7 years, I'm right at a level that looking back on it, that I would be just where I thought I'd be. Just well enough. And now from here, we can, get that mechanical spiritual resonance and keep it moving. And it's good because I also had to get to another spot, which this is a totally different video, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But I get to a spot where I had not to let other people's bullshit bother me. And that was important in order to make this work, to raise my spiritual vibration, to raise it up, especially for myself and also for my son, to raise the spiritual vibration just enough to be outside of that realm of negativity. Because we live in that certain realm and it's bad enough, so we don't need to add to it, right? So what I figured, I was like, well, we're going to raise our vibration, so we're just out of that. It's like a radio, right? You tune into that radio, and if you're just off a bit, it won't, sometimes you get to radio stations that interfere with each other, like, and you hear both at the same time. You don't want that. And a lot of people have that. So I've been trying to, you want to get rid of that part, right? But anywho, so 7 years ago, I vowed and I wrote it down. I wrote this whole little, like a paragraph about how I'm going to work on it and raise my spiritual vibration. And I've done it. I'm just starting to reap the effects of it. And it's awesome. It's been a lot of work, not constantly, of course, right? But it's still been a lot of work, and I'm so glad. But that's what I do. I do internal work. I don't go out and earn money and get a car and a house. That's how I do my life. I look internally and I figure all my internal crap out. I want to try to figure out my karma or something, right? But I want to focus internally. I'm so happy that after 7 years that this has come to fruition, that I've actually been able to raise the spiritual vibration to just that level where it's good. It's good. Life is good and we don't have a bunch of bullshit going on left and right. Right? But anyway, that's what I had to say. Thanks for watching, guys.